Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us for Mom's Questions on Stephen's Tostemac Autism Vlogs. For those that might be new, my name is Ellen McAllister, and I'm the proud parent of Stephen and Thomas. So today we are answering questions, and I want to thank Chantel Hawkins for her first question. Actually, she asked two, but I think they're one. I would like to hear about how to balance respectful boundaries and acceptance when doing beneficial therapies such as speech therapy, occupational therapy, or even just being in a school setting, and any tips for dealing with family who can't get over that it's really autism and not bad parenting. Chantel, I'm very much with you. My boys had speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavior management therapy, need I go on? And yes, we did take my boys out of the house and we went to many different venues. We went to restaurants, we went to family events, we went to the malls, we went lots of places. But believe me, it was not easy. And as far as being accused of bad parenting, yes, I was also accused of being a bad parent because how dare I let my child carry on that way, because other people would never do that with their children. The first thing you need to hear, Chantel, if they're not taking your child home, don't worry about it. This is your child, and you are doing the best job that you can. And yes, sometimes it's going to be family members that are going to make those types of comments. They don't understand, Chantel. They're not walking in your moccasins. So there's nothing you can do but to keep going forward with what your child needs, because remember, your child depends on you. Now, as far as going to these events, some hints. Well, as you've heard me before say, preparation is the number one thing that you need to do. When you know that you're going to go to an event, what you need to do is think ahead. Okay, what is the venue that I'm going to? What are some of the potential triggers that will set my child off? What are some of the tools that I am going to need to help my child to cope with this venue? We had a really good example recently. I took one of my sons to California. Now, my son, we are used to being in a small family setting, small group of people, because we're away from the larger part of the family. So he's not used to those large crowds. When we went out to California, what I did was I made sure for him, music is a stress reliever. I made sure he had some earphones and he had enough battery power in his phone so that when he started to feel stressed, he could very simply put his earphones on, spend some time with his music, give himself that break to come down. So you're talking about when they go to speech therapy or occupational therapy. Well, remember, those therapists have been trained in what your child needs. You should not have to be worrying about that. And as far as boundaries, there is no boundary for our child. What you need to understand is it socially acceptable? Okay, we're training these children on social acceptable behaviors. That's fine. Our children are going to make mistakes. So does everybody else's child. And people around us need to understand we are in training. Okay? So when that happens, mistakes are going to happen, but more importantly, successes are going to happen. So my biggest recommendation as far as balancing respectful boundaries, focus on your child, what your child needs. Okay? And I'm hoping that that answers your question. If not, certainly send back a question with maybe more specifics. Okay, for now the second question, I want to thank Pamela Sherrod for her entry. And Pamela says, I'm a mom. My question is on puberty for the first time girl. She already can't stand tank tops, and so we're trying to figure out how to make her wear a bra, and we don't even want to discuss that other woman thing. Well, Pam, there's no easy way around this. Take a look and see what other options are. If she is small, you might be able to get away with a camisole or maybe a camisole with a lining. If she's rather large, then maybe what you're going to need to do is get her a sports bra. More often than not, it's not the actual clothing item, it's the feel of the clothing, okay? Bras that are made of regular linen may not be comfortable. She might like something more of a jersey feel to it, so try and look at the different materials. The other thing is, It's a change in her body. And as we know with our children, a lot of times it's more the change than anything else that's creating the issue. So take a look at what is it about this event that's bothering her. Maybe you need to bring magazines and show her that this is the normal progression for girls. And don't make a big deal about it. Just simply try the different textures of the materials, try the different colors. Maybe it's a color thing. Let her find her own way. As far as the other woman thing, biology is going to get you. You're not going to have an option. And don't you think you would rather talk to your child about that instead of a stranger on the street? What you can do is just answer her questions to the level that she understands. Start early and do a little bit at a time and keep repeating it a little bit at a time. Don't think that you're just going to have one sit down with a book, we're going to talk it all over, and it's a done deal. Remember, oftentimes our children need to sit, take information in, process, and then regurgitate it to you for correction. Please do not miss the opportunity to be your child's best friend and make sure that she's going to get the right information. Our children are already at a deficit. The last thing that we need to do is to let it go because we're uncomfortable. You can also check with your local doctor or nurse practitioner. Sometimes they can help you in starting these conversations with your daughter. But I applaud you for going ahead and bringing that up because that's a very, very important topic. Our next question comes from Jane Burrows. Jane says, any idea why my son could be licking everything, including hedges? And then she has a very sad face. Why he may hate the washing machine being on and scared to poo on the toilet. Well, let's start with the poo on the toilet because that's the easiest one. Okay, this goes back to what I was talking about in the pottying video. The feel of the potty, the height of the potty, the temperature of the potty, the stress of what the potty means. You see, it's actually a multitude of items. So now the question is, are you trying to train him on the big boy potty or did you buy him a little seat? Do you have the hard seats or do you have those cushiony seats? Is the seat cold? See, there's a plethora of things that you and I won't think about, but they do. Because that's more sensory input to a child who's already in sensory overload. So you got to break it down and change one thing each time until you find out what is that golden thing that's going to help your son to lose the fear of pooing on the potty. The other thing, if you remember from my video entry the last time, is you want to make sure that you're not rushing this child. Each child has his own or her own timeline, and you have to respect it. We can't rush this with our children. It's just not going to work. And if we want him to be successful in the big picture, we have to be patient with these step-by-steps. Okay, as far as the washing machine, again, let's go back. What is one of the problems that our children have with autism? Sensory input. It could be the sound. It could be the vibration that the washing machine puts on your floor that you're not even aware of. Okay, so one of the things to get him around that, because that's not something he's going to get around, he needs to be able to deal with that, is make it a game. Okay, Stephen, I'm going to sit you on top of the wash machine and I'm just going to put it on for a little bit so you feel the rumble, and then quickly take him off, and then do it again and take him off. Or if it's the sound, then just have him outside the door with earmuffs and let him put on the washing machine. And then little by little, move one earmuff, close it and open the other one, move it close in the other, and then eventually take them off. So again, stair-step him into the process of the washing machine. It's not a washing machine that's bothering him. It's a sound or it's a vibration. As far as licking things, oftentimes people, and I will say people because I know of a lot of people that are not on the spectrum that have this problem, when they lick at something, there's usually a mineral or something that they're missing in their diet you might not be aware. That one I would probably take to the doctor and just have the doctor do a nutrition assessment on him and make sure there isn't something that the child is needing that he is getting from that. Or if that proves out to be nothing, it may be nothing more than he enjoys the sensation of something rough on his tongue. Again, we go back to sensory stimuli. Okay, so for our last and final question for this evening, I have a message from Fatima Robinson. And Fatima says, my son is 12 years old and he loves to hum. What can I do to cut the humming down a bit? Fatima, my heart goes out to you. My own father, who is also on the spectrum, hums, and he loves to hum. 90% of the time, he is unaware that he's doing it. Stephen went through a phase where he did the same thing. They're not even aware of it. So it's not something that they're doing to annoy people. And in fact, it's self-stemming. It is a comfort measure. So this light is grabbing my attention. Your face is grabbing my attention. The feel of my clothing is getting my attention. The humming of the camera over here is getting my attention. And I need something to kind of block some of this extra stimuli. So I'm going to hum my favorite tune. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to refocus myself to bring my anxiety level down. So if your son is doing a lot of it, take a look in his environment. What is it that's going on when he's humming? And see if there are some things that are stressing him. Now, one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that is a recent, I don't want to say an invention, but a recent gadget that's been going out a lot, and I'm sure all of you can find them, are these fidget gadgets. They have the spinning wheel, and they have the little cube that you can do things. I've been watching a lot of children that are using these items, and a lot of the behaviors we talked about today, I'm noticing come down in some of the children that I work with when they are using these toys. Several years ago, I took care of a young man by the name of Jacob. Extremely intelligent, but he had a lot of difficulty occupying that part of his brain that wanted to go off and do other things when he needed to stay focused on his schooling or his scouting or his church or whatever the event was. And the one thing that Jacob did that was very, very good is he found what I like to call his tchotchkes. And for him, what it was little race cars. And as long as he had them in his hand, and he'd flip them around his hand, or he might roll it on the table, that occupied that part of the brain that needed to be distracted. And because he was able to do that, he was able to focus on what the teacher, the preacher, his parent, myself, whoever was saying to him or trying to get him to do. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we all have those habits. Have you ever met somebody? They tap their fingers. Guess what? That's like humming to some people, okay? Or did you ever sit with somebody and their leg is flipping and on the chair, okay? So the difference is our children have the label. So we're going to watch these behaviors closer. So I do hope I was able to answer everybody's questions. If there's any other questions or I wasn't clear, please feel free to go ahead and send the rest of your questions in to Tostemac. And as Stephen would say, if you like what you saw, share, like, and I'm going to have to call Stephen on this. Stephen.
You had one task. I give you a vlog to yourself and you do this. Okay. So last time it goes like this.
Okay.
Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any other questions for Miss Ellen and whatnot, feel free to let us know, either messaging us on Facebook or emailing us at tostemac@gmail.com. Something tells me we'll be doing more of these Q&A videos in the future.
What he said.
Now can you please try to remember that next time?
No.
You're hopeless.
No, I'm your mom.
That makes it even worse.
Bye.